Have you ever wondered why you believe all the right things about God, and yet your faith still feels quiet? Why does it sometimes feel like He's there, but not loud? Most of us assume the solution is to try harder, pray more, read more, do more. But what if the issue isn't effort? What if it's volume? In John 3:30, John the Baptist says something that should stop every serious believer in their tracks. He must increase, but I must decrease. That's not poetry, that's a principle. Faith isn't about adding God to an already full life, it's about increasing Him and allowing something else to decrease. Most of us aren't struggling because God is absent. We're struggling because something else has increased quietly. Increase doesn't mean God becomes more powerful, He already is. Increase means greater influence, greater awareness, greater weight in your decisions. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." Stillness is decrease, knowing is increase. You cannot increase awareness without decreasing noise. Be honest. What has increased in your life lately? Notifications, opinions, news, your own internal commentary, anxiety? Jesus said in Matthew 6:21, "Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Where your attention goes, your heart follows." That's not mystical, that's formation. You don't drift away from God by rejecting Him, you drift by slowly increasing everything else. This is important. Distraction doesn't always look sinful. It looks productive, busy, responsible. But Luke 10 gives us the story of Mary and Martha. Martha wasn't immoral, she was distracted. Jesus didn't rebuke her service. He corrected her focus. One thing is necessary. That's increased language. Busyness isn't rebellion, but it can still drown out the voice of God. Think about a literal volume knob. Turning something up doesn't require creating new sound. It requires amplifying what's already there. God is not silent. Hebrews 4:12 tells us His word is living and active. Romans 8:14 says those led by the Spirit are sons of God. The issue is rarely divine silence, it's competing signals. This is where people get nervous. Decrease sounds like loss. But biblically, decrease is alignment. James 4:8 says, "Draw near to God, and He will draw near to you." Drawing near requires margin. Margin requires decrease. Decrease hurry, decrease noise, decrease self-reliance, decrease constant input. Not forever, but intentionally. You cannot turn God up without turning something else down. Turning up God isn't about intensity, it's about intentional rhythm. Prayer increases awareness, scripture increases clarity, worship increases affection, fellowship increases perspective. Acts 2 shows believers devoted to these rhythms. And what happened? God increased among them. Not hype, presence. Here's the uncomfortable truth. If God feels quiet, it doesn't mean He left. It may mean something else has been increasing unchecked. John the Baptist understood this. His ministry was thriving, and he willingly decreased because he knew the goal wasn't visibility, it was alignment. The goal of your life isn't to be louder, it's to let Christ be louder in you. So let me ask you again, what has been increasing in your life? And what honestly needs to decrease? Because spiritual growth isn't about adding more religious activity. It's about learning to say daily, He must increase and I must decrease. That's what turning up God is about. Not striving, not performance. Alignment.